Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing today? So I'm sitting here with my sidekick. I am waiting for Clark to hop on. Aha, there he is. Hey, Clark. So I'm gonna ask you to. So much easier now, I feel like. Let me know that you got the invite. Oh, there we are. There you are.
Can you see me? Can you see
I do
me?
not see. I see your screen. Oh, now I see you. Awesome.
How are you?
How are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good. Thanks for asking. How are you going?
I'm good. I'm here with my sidekick, our little Dominican rescue. I'm hoping that
Oh,
he's going to be very quiet during this. Um, hey, Kyrie, thanks for joining us. I titled this life skills, and I shared a poster with you probably a day or so ago about life skills that we are not seeing in our schools right now. And I think we both have major life skills that we can share with our youth that will serve them not just now, but in the future. But before we get into that, can you tell the audience that we met through your lovely wife? Um, you are a financial coach. What does that mean exactly, or how did that all come about?
yeah, no, absolutely, definitely. Being a financial coach, it came about from basically life experiences, right? So, going over the years, basically, I spent a decade dealing with the financial roller coaster of what we call, financial literacy. So,
Yeah.
from renting property to owning property to lines of credits, loans, missing payments, saying, hey, how do I fix this? Basically, the whole roller coaster brought me to a point where I said, well, there's no mentors, there are no coaches, there's no one for me to reach out to and say, hey, I don't know what to do here. What do I do next? So I said, you know what? I'm going to become that person. So I had very well documented over the years my whole journey with credit. Getting no's from banks, getting maybes, getting told, hey, you need to adjust this. As I wrote everything down and I went back and reapplied and I started getting these approvals, I started to understand the system. And I
Yeah.
said, well, you know what? I'm going to put myself in a position where I can help young adults and teenagers learn what they're not getting in school.
100%. And I know that, I mean, I'm the first to, I had a lot of shame about money for a long time. Um, I still struggle with some things, but I know deep down, like when I dig and I did some mindset work, I know that it really goes back to a time of things that happened in my childhood and then things happened to me as a teenager and not having guidance on what do you do with this money? Like what is it and what does it represent? And um, some people have ease with it, some of them don't. And do you see a lot of that with clients or in group settings when you're with young people? Like, is there a mindset component or something like like a judgment they already have preset?
Absolutely. I think the lack of the actual education, the lack of making it a comfortable conversation is what creates that. So yes, I do see it a lot. And that's why actually my narrative and the way that I push my programs is I want to make it cool. I'm literally
Yeah,
going to make it cool to be educated about credit. I'm going to make it cool to say, hey, I have this much in my savings, and by the end of the year, I'm going to have this much. Like, I'm going to make it cool to say, hey, I have this credit card, but my balance is at zero because I know how to pay it properly. So
yeah.
absolutely, I do think that there's that stigma that's there, and I think it's also the confidence that's lacking. We have to be able to approach this like we approach anything else. So I'll give you an example. When you have a teenager and you're preparing to send them out into this wonderful world that they
Yeah.
have to go into, you want to teach them the basics, right? Cooking, cleaning, taking care of themselves. But financial literacy is a big asset that we don't really make a priority, and we have to. They need to know how to manage a bank account, deal with a credit card, pay their bills on time, and they need to understand why in 3, 5, 10 years that's going to be extremely important. But it starts from day one.
Yeah, and I mean, I can even speak for myself. I remember starting school at the University of Toronto, walking on campus, and at the time it was Citibank. And they're like, do you have a credit card? I'm like, no. Do you want one? Okay. And it was like that easy. And it was an $800 limit. So it wasn't a huge limit, but here I have this piece of plastic and nobody telling me like, oh, if you use it, you actually have to like pay it off and go back. And I mean, I did find and then of course the banks are so generous that they up your limit without telling you, or they send you that letter that says, oh, you're such a great customer. I've received those in the past and I've actually ripped it up and said, no, I'm not interested in a $10,000, $20,000 limit because I don't have a need for that. So I think what you're doing is fantastic. And I think part of money is the fear. I know like in what I do when it comes to speaking and speaking out, teens have fear, right? And we want to sort of eradicate or sort of lessen the fear around those topics of speaking up or of money. What are some of the things that you are kind of, or your goals when you get in front of a group? What are the things that you want them to walk away with?
I mean, honestly, it always depends on what age group it is, but
Yeah.
definitely overall, whoever I'm speaking to, I want them to leave with the confidence that, hey, you know what? It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to get informed. And I have that. I have someone that I can reach out to who looks like me, who's been where I've been, that is not saying, hey, you know what? I'm some rich guy from a company that's just coming to tell you things to get you here. No, no, no. I'm a
No.
consumer just like you. And I went through that. So I want people to walk away with, hey, you know what? It's not so bad. Like maybe I thought I was in a really bad situation. I just said, there's nothing I can do to fix that. No, there's always an opportunity to fix it. And now I have the resources and the backing to be confident to attack that goal.
Yeah. And I think what you've said is really important and it resonates with me because when we've walked in their shoes, we understand much better. I was the shy kid. I was the kid ridden with anxiety, not want to go to the front of the class or speak up, or the same thing applies. If they can see in us what they see in them or feel in themselves, they will be much more willing to open up about needing help. And let's be honest, I mean, money is a taboo subject, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely.
People do not want to talk about money. They are uncomfortable about it. And I've been uncomfortable about it before, but now I'm sort of at a point in my life, maybe it's my age, where I'm just like, I just don't give a F anymore. It is what it is. I'm doing what I need to do to make the money or to spend or to save. And that belongs to me, but it's taking me time to get there. And I think that if you can kind of nip this in the bud early on, it definitely will help our younger generation. Now, what are 3 like high level tips maybe if somebody's looking for some help right now? I mean, they may be young, right? I mean, if they're in their late teens and they're looking for help, or their parents are watching this and they want, because I think the key here is that kids don't listen to their parents.
Exactly.
So
And you know what?
they listen to people like us.
That's it. That's it. And you know, before I go into the 3 tips, that's actually amazing that you point that out, because that's why I actually have a package for that, which is a parent package where you come with your kid or your teenager or young adult, and we all work together. So you kind of have to give that vulnerability of, hey, mom or dad went through these things as well, and I'm willing to have you come on this journey with me so that you understand that it doesn't matter how old you are, you're still able to learn. You're still able to learn something new. But with your questions, 3 things. That's a really good one. I think the first one will be getting informed. So work with a coach, work with a mentor, work with someone that you feel that, hey, how did you get here? How did you do that? How did you build this? Ask questions. That's it. The second thing I would say is question yourself as well. So as a teenager, ask yourself, you know what? Let me step back. We'll look at it this way. I'm going to give you an example now. When I was a teenager, all I wanted was sneakers, video games, and hang out with my friends, right? So sneakers, right? And now, the biggest one, and as an adult, I have to admit, same thing, my PlayStation, right? So these are the things I wanted. And the reason I brought these is to make you understand that as a teenager, you want these things. And if you get that credit card, like you mentioned earlier, Nat, that says, hey, you've got this limit of $2,000, you're like, yeah, I'm going to go and buy these things. Like, why not? But if you're not made or given the information to say, hey, the way you pay this back is crucial to what happens to you 5 or 10 years from now. I'm an 18-year-old or 17-year-old just turning 18. I don't think about those things. I don't know what's
No.
going on, right? So if we start educating them at 15, 14, 16, that, hey, when this time comes, you're going to receive this, but this is how you handle it. In my program, for example, I show people these prompts and I say, well, you can buy it right now with your credit card, or you can utilize the points, use it regularly for your bus pass, for whatever you do. And at the end of the year, the points you accumulate will buy you this. And you won't spend $1. So again, I'm not pitching it, but I'm just making people understand because it's more realistic when you're like, I've been wanting that, but I don't want the debt that comes with it. Well, there are ways to do it, right?
And I think yeah, exactly. I think there are other solutions out there that I hate to say society's not sharing, right? They don't want you to go down those routes.
No.
And I think there's so many ways of saving money or spending your money wisely. So if anybody has joined the call today, my name's Nat. I'm a speaking coach. My program's called Teen Talk. I'm here with Clarck Cadet, who's a financial coach. He specializes working with teens as well as adults. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat for us, and we'll get them to you a little bit later. Okay, so you did get informed, and you said
Question yourself.
question
So
yourself.
basically, ask yourself, do you really want that now? Do you need it now? Is it something that can wait 6 months? This way you can budget and go with it. And the last but not least, but very important, is create a plan. Like
Yeah,
literally, and when I say create a plan, it's literally have a savings plan, have a debt reduction plan, have a plan that you can say, hey, this is my short-term goal, long-term goal, midterm goal. And by having those three things, it kind of gives you an idea of, okay, well, you know what? I know what my income looks like. I know what I want to do. But even as adults, we don't ever really budget or think about the emergencies, right? We have those
yeah.
things that always pop up, those pesky things.
So, yeah, you said a good word, budget. Do you think, as a young person, a budget should be created? And I think that the word budget it's important to clarify that it's not a bad word.
No, not at all.
It's
A
part of your
budget is actually
plan.
a positive thing. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So I'll give you an example. If you're getting $20 a week to do chores at home from your parents, but you want to buy a $500 item, well, you're not going to go spend $10 every week at the movies. You're going to budget. That's so the word budget is not so grand schemed as people think it is. It's literally
yeah,
taking small steps in your day-to-day living and creating habits that's going to get you to your goals. It's really that.
absolutely. I love that because it never ceases to amaze me how, unfortunately, there's such a high percentage of people that are living in that paycheck to paycheck situation. So we want people to be able to empower themselves. So I'm really glad that we did this today. Do you have any last words of wisdom?
Woo.
Woo.
Well, keep attending sessions like this. People like you, Nat, people like me that can collaborate and get together. It's amazing because this is free. This is just free information that's being given from wisdom. And again, like I was saying earlier, I didn't have this growing up. I'm sure you didn't have this
Yeah,
growing up. So now we have the internet that gives us opportunities to make people say, hey, I can get free information. And if I have more questions, I can reach out. Ways to find me. My website is www.clarckcadet.com. My Instagram is Clarck the Financial Coach. And I also have a podcast called the Road Ties Podcast where I'll be doing a lot of things just like this. Sessions where I'm just
perfect.
speaking to people. So we'll plug that in after. But words of wisdom, network, don't be afraid to ask questions, and enjoy life. Honestly, it's going to bring you stress and drama no matter what. You can avoid it, but enjoy the moments. Enjoy the ups, enjoy the downs, but just make sure that you keep moving forward.
Awesome. I love it. Thanks so much for doing this with me today. I hope it's a nice day where you are. It's pretty warm here.
It's getting nicer. I have people work. They're building my pool right now, so it'll be
Yay!
nice in a few days when my pool gets built. But it is okay here. I wish you could send some more sun from where you are over here. We're not there yet.
I'm gonna bring it with me next
I
weekend.
appreciate that. But thank you so much for having
Awesome.
me. Honestly, I love the platform. I love what you're doing. Let's keep
Thank
at it.
you. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Take care,
Take
Clark. Bye
care.
for now.
Bye bye.